Metal Gear Solid is the best game on Game Boy Color. The story is insanely detailed, it's just as polished as its 3D counterparts, the fluid sprite work and detailed backgrounds are absurdly high quality, the sound effects, especially coming from the codec conversations, make you wonder how they're coming from a single GBC speaker, and the post-game content is excellent. After completing the lengthy campaign, there are tons of VR and side missions to complete too. Okay, trivia time. What was the first Metal Gear game to feature multiplayer? You might think it was Metal Gear Online, or even the multiplayer mode found in Metal Gear Acid on PSP, but it was actually 2000's Metal Gear Solid on Game Boy Color. This was the first Metal Gear game to feature multiplayer, and you never played it because tracking down a Game Boy Color owning friend, another copy of the game, and a link cable is a bit of a hassle. So for this episode of Enable the Link Cable, I wanted to take a deep dive into Metal Gear Solid's completely overlooked two-player verse battle mode. If you click on verse battle from the main menu, nothing happens. But when connecting two Game Boy Colors with the link cable, each system having their own copy of the game, and then selecting the multiplayer option, both players will be taken to the weapons selection screen. Here, players can select two weapons to take into battle. There's the R5 machine gun that shoots rapid fire, C4 explosives that can detonate on command, grenades that cause a large damaging explosion, smoke grenades that modifies the field of vision, or chaff grenades that jam the radar of both players. Each player always starts with the 5.7 pistol, landmines, body armor, and a mine detector that depicts pre-placed mines as a single pixel on the radar. Player 1 controls Blue Snake, while Player 2 controls a palette-swapped Red Snake, and I gotta admit it's a little weird seeing Snake rock a red sneaking suit, but I kinda like it. The multiplayer link mode plays similarly to the single-player campaign, but with some key differences. A still punches and B uses whatever weapon is equipped, start crawls, which is used to pick up mines, and select actually makes an arrow appear to indicate the direction of your opponent. This directional radar depletes over time, so it can't always be in use, and it's also possible to pause the game for both players by hitting both start and select at the same time. Unlike the single-player mode where you can swap weapons and items from a paused menu, both players need a way to do this in real time, so pressing A with up and down on the D-pad will cycle through items, while holding A and tapping left and right on the D-pad will change weapons. This 1v1 multiplayer mode takes on another layer of gameplay beyond the standard deathmatch rules. You see, instead of just hunting down and attacking the other snake, it's encouraged to destroy the wisps, these floating orange targets that drop things when destroyed. They might drop some extra ammo, but if you're lucky, they'll drop one of 3 data discs. Collect all 3 discs and 4 exit markers will appear throughout the stage. However, only one of these exits is the true exit, the other 3 are fake. All exits look exactly the same, so you won't know until you walk through them. The discs you collect are highlighted in green, your opponent's in red, and the uncollected discs are indicated on white on the side of the screen. So there's actually 3 ways to win the verse battle mode. First, collect all 3 discs and reach the exit. 2, kill your opponent 3 times. Or 3, have more discs than your opponent when the 4-minute timer expires. If you die while holding discs, those discs are redistributed back into the wisps. Also, if your opponent has all the discs and trying to find the true exit, the losing player might get lucky if a destroyed wisp drops an exit shuffle item. This is a cool Hail Mary random chance to stay alive a little longer item, the blue shell of the game if you will. You might think it would be easier and more fun to simply blast your opponent with the pistol or machine gun, but that really isn't true. The thing is, those weapons only drain a sliver of health. However, nail your opponent with some C4 and watch most of that health meter get drained in a single blast. Landmines are also randomly placed throughout each stage, so when the match starts, you'll explode yourself if you're not careful. That's why using chaff nades might be your best friend if you're playing against an impatient player, since it blocks the radar and location of mines. And be sure to watch out for the electrified floors and the insta-killed trap doors, a Metal Gear staple. There are no gameplay options to adjust, so you can't change the default 4-minute time limit or select a starting stage. However, there are multiple stages in this 2-player link mode, but they cycle through in sequential order. Most stages are composed of a large area, so much so that it justifies having that directional radar indicator with winding hallways and tight turns, so both snakes will have plenty of opportunity to use their CQC, that is, if you can spot your opponent. This is Metal Gear after all, so field of vision is important. If your opponent walks in front of you, he will stay visible for a few seconds after leaving your line of sight. After hitting your opponent, he'll stay visible for about 10 seconds. This actually kind of feels a little weird because Snake has always had the upper hand when playing the single-player campaign since he can see everything while NPCs have their limited cone of vision. I guess now you know what it feels like to be one of those genome soldiers. While sneaking up on your opponent is a worthy battle tactic, it doesn't make sense to incorporate sneaking sounds into this 1v1 mode, so there's no option to tap the wall to make a distracting noise or move around in a cardboard box like there is in the single-player campaign. Also, there's actually no music in this Link mode. There's the winning sound effect at the conclusion of a game, and there's an audio notice when there's 30 seconds left, but listening for the weapon and sound effects of your opponent can provide an indicator as to which weapon they have in their inventory. And the game keeps a tally of wins, losses, and draws at the conclusion of each match. And since this game is hard to find these days, I think it's worth mentioning that this game is region locked, so you can only connect 2 cartridges from the same region. Isn't it a bummer that we can't all get along? I guess my only complaint is that you need to back out to the main menu and resend the link signal if you want to change your weapon loadout, but it only takes a second, so it's really not a big deal. The thing is, this verse mode only works when each player has their own screen. Remember playing multiplayer GoldenEye on N64? Looking at your opponent's screen was part of the strategy of winning. It's something that we take for granted with online gaming today. Having your own screen makes a world of difference, and one of the reasons I have been exploring multiplayer Game Boy games on my channel. It needs to be recognized that this is a detailed multiplayer experience. If the developers didn't include this multiplayer feature, Metal Gear Solid on Game Boy Color would still be a killer game. But the fact that they included a 2-player Link mode, one that's rather creative and fun, is a phenomenal addition, further proving that this handheld release was a labor of love. This game is a high-quality package, a bright spot that shines more than any other game on the system. But the verse battle mode is never mentioned because so few players took the time and effort to connect Game Boys with the link cable. In fact, I couldn't find any articles, FAQs, or videos on this topic. So bust out that link cable, find a friend, and give it a shot. Don't overlook the multiplayer feature in this game, or other Game Boy games for that matter. You each have your own screen, and that's pretty awesome. If you want to see more Metal Gear Solid on Game Boy Color, I actually played through the entire game right here on my channel. Link is in the description. And if you like this Game Boy Color link cable coverage, be sure to check out my Game Boy Advance single pack link series as I explore this underappreciated multiplayer feature that only requires 1 cartridge for multiplayer gaming on Nintendo's handheld. Link will also be in the description. Be sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss future episodes, and let me know what Game Boy or Game Boy Color multiplayer games you'd like me to cover next. Until next time, thank you for watching and game on.